creeper. Oh man.
Welcome back to another episode of Building with Beastly. Now, today we have something a little bit different, which is going to be the BM Thicc deck, which is basically just BM Bounce. It is a Ninja Druid deck that only runs one single Ninja card. So quite curious. Let's go ahead and find out what that card is. Last time people got a little bit annoyed with me taking a long time scrolling while I was building it, and that's totally understandable. So this time, we're going to try something a little bit different, which is pre-built decks. Now in a future episode, maybe I'll go back and try to build and talk while I do, but I will use the gold search feature if I do try that out. But that's for a later episode. Right now, we're going to go ahead and get into the pre-built deck. So, starting over at Bestial Rage, it is almost an auto-clued for Druid. It's a very, very powerful card for both offense and defense, especially if you pair it up with chunky boys like Windfall Griffin and Swordsman. Surprise, surprise. So Swordsman is absolutely devastating with it. Mordok is as well, but again, we are doing a legendary limit for these decks. I will say, however, that if you do want to overrun your legendary limit, the version of this deck that I run has 3 Fat Bard in it, and it has 3 Call for Aids. So you could switch out the Swordsman with Call for Aid, so 3 of those, and then you could switch out the Windfall Griffins and a Ramrus, or a Blessing, actually. Yeah, switch out the 2 Windfall Griffins and a Blessing for 3 Fat Bards. And then you'll find that that helps a ton with your rat generation, the power level of your rats, and your beast generation, or the power of your beast from Beastmaster and Rat King. And that's driven by a nice little combo, which is Shadow Dance. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. We're just going to get into the earlier side of things. Now, with Bestial Rage, it's paired up with Blessing. So any unit in the early game, like if you play down a Faithful Drake, high health unit, getting Blessing on it, it suddenly becomes a very beefy boy in the early game. And you can use that Bestial Rage to take out multiple targets. So they're playing down buildings, anything like that, anything annoying, you can just take it out immediately. Lumberjack, of course, auto-include. Injured Trent, nice little 3/3. Great card in the early game. Ramrus is there for Bestial Rage value and the buff that you get from it. You can replace Ramrus if you're not a big fan of the card. Run any 2 cost, or even if you want to replace it with maybe a range unit, something like that. I try to keep the only range unit to Wizard because this deck has liability issues in the early game, since you do have some later game cards in here. So I made a very strong early game, only added in 3 range units, which you can use the Bestial Rage with combo and kind of flinch the castle down, because you can attack and then move back when you rage the range unit. Shadow Dance is here for the Rat King, the Companions, and the Beastmaster. Now, the reason Shadow Dance is so powerful is it allows you to bounce the unit back to your hand twice, because it's got rebound, and the second time it costs 0 gold. Now, with Rat King, you can get a total of, if you're on the back row, you can get 4 rats the first time, 4 rats the second time, 4 rats the third time. That's 12 rats total out of a 3-5. It's a little bit of gold. You can do the math yourself. But then to kind of even further that combination, Beastmaster, you can bounce it back, and on top of bouncing it back, it gets rid of the liability on the board for your beast. So normally, if they have like a blue fireball and they blue fire your Beastmaster, hey, all your beasts disappear. That Windfall Griffin you had out, those Ramruses, all the Spinies, everything, it's all gone. But if you bounce it, then suddenly, hey, they can't get rid of your beasts anymore, and they're safe to go on their happy little way, and you can get a ton of beasts out of a single Beastmaster with the Shadow Dance. Companions, you can kind of hit face, hit whatever you want, and then Shadow Dance it back, so that you have the option to even play it again in the same turn, if you really want to, and get a second hit off, or you can just keep it in your hand as a threat for any range units they may play, anything like that. So just super powerful card, Shadow Dance, and it's really the only ninja card in this deck, and it works beautifully. Blacksmith and Armory are just there to beef up all of the token generation that comes out of the Rat King and Beastmaster with the Shadow Dance. And beef up all of your smaller game units as smaller, earlier turn units as well. Give them a little bit more power in the late game because those can be draws that you get in the late game. You've got Manicore just there to help along your swordsmen or your Beastmaster, or your Flying Griffin, sorry, your Windfall Griffin, with damage soakage. Very very nice card. Your wizard is there, as I said before, just to flinch castle down. A little bit of range support as well. You've got Centaur and Spiny just to chip off any buildings or range units they might play. You've got your Windfall Griffin as just a big beefy boy who is also a beast, so a little bit of beast synergy there. You can replace him with Minotaur here. If you don't want to take the risk of him getting killed off if they manage to blue fire your BM or something like that. And then Swordsman is here because it is just devastating if you get a Bestial Rage on him. You can run around the board just cleaning up a ton of stuff. So yeah, that's going to be the deck. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into some matches. Match number 1 here against the right toe. That's a very specific toe. But we do have a Swordsman and an Armory and a Manicore in our opening hand, along with the Blessing. I'm going to get rid of everything but the Armory, because globals are just so important in this deck. They can really beef up your rats and everything, so you definitely want to keep them, especially in this version where we're not running Bard. Maybe in the other version I would have gotten rid of it if I was running Bard, because then you have all 9 globals in here, which is a little bit excessive, but it does work. We'll go ahead and open out with the Faithful Drake. Just get a very high health unit on the board, and then we can augment it next turn with Armory, or we could just play a Wizard, something like that, for a little bit of range support. That's what I meant to say. We'll see what he puts out here. Ooh, a Ice Drake. Okay, interesting. I think we'll definitely play the Armory and make the trade here then. Because we do have a Spiny that we can play next turn, or we can play a Wizard, something along those lines. I really don't like playing the Armory behind Castle when I'm playing against Viking because, Lightning Blade on Castle, that's my Armory cleared up. Which is never a good thing. But we are taking a nice stance here with the Drake. The reason I decided to trade it was positioning. Because it's here, he can only move here to attack it, or here. And if he moves here, then our range unit is free to move up to this square here, take a little bit more of an aggressive stance than if he had a unit to play up here. He is going to move it forward, though, all the way, which is excellent because that gives us a chance to play our Trent and then take a nice 4 chunk out of his bear here. Pass it back to him. We won't Bestial Rage or anything like that. If the bear moves up, of course we can play Rat King, and that's going to be a free kill with the rats there. So we'll see what he decides to do. Maybe I played this a little bit too aggressively. He will play the Flux, and then trade. So we will see, okay, him get a Bestial Rage of his own, along with a Shadow Dance. So that would be like our dream combination for this deck. He's going to Bestial Rage the bear, which just means we have to now trade 2 rats into it. Instead, we get a second Bestial Rage, so we're looking at quite a bit of wizard value coming out here. We'll go ahead and play the Rat King, and we'll trade the 2. I'll trade the Rat King itself. Simply because I don't want the gold drain when I don't have a bounce, a Shadow Dance in hand. So we're looking pretty good on the board here. We got our rats lined up. We are pretty liable to chain right now, so we'll go ahead and try to fix that next turn. And we'll definitely play ourselves. I could do a Spiny Bestial Range combo to get rid of this swords here, which I think I might go for. Or alternatively, we could do that next turn. So I think instead we'll actually just do this. We'll go ahead and move that up. Go ahead and play this, and then we'll play this in the back and deal another 3. We'll see what he does with the swords here. He should trade with the... he should put it into the Spiny in the back here. We do have a second Spiny, though. I'm just trying to get pressure on his face just so that he can't do some weird shenanigans where he gets rid of everything on my face if he Drake dances or something like that. Okay, so he does the sensible thing here. Makes that. Alright, excellent. Very good on his part. So we're definitely going to Spiny Bestial Rage here. Yeah, 100%. We get a centaur as well. Ooh, we're actually looking pretty close to lethal here, if I'm being honest. With those companions in hand especially. So what we can do here is we can move up our unit here. We can play down a spiny over here. We can bestial rage this. Then we can hit castle for 5. Then we can hit. I think I'll take the 5 and then play the wizard, if I'm being honest. Yeah, we'll hit this here. We're taking a risk here. We're putting out a range unit where he can attack it. But we're going to move up. We're going to deal the damage to castle here. And the plan is to be able to kill him. Basically, we're kind of overwhelming him at this point. We got the Centaur Bestial Rage in hand. If we don't have a beast to play it on, we won't be able to deal the 5. So we're kind of taking a gamble. We've got a lot of units on board. They're spaced, so it's not like he could really lightning them. He does have 8 gold this turn, though. So he's going to play that as one move. We'll see what he can do here. He probably should have used that blacksmith, if we're being honest, to clean up that rat. Seeing as that would have gotten a little bit of the pressure off of him here, if he can clean up the mage. I don't think he'll be able to clean up our board, so I think our gamble paid off. Seeing as we had the armory, just decided to go for it. Especially with that centaur bestial rage, because even if he left one unit alive, like just the rat, something like that, we could have killed him. So he's thinking here, how can I clean up? And I don't think he can. I don't think it's possible, unless racking Mystic Journey. But even then, would that clean it up, really? I don't think... Actually, yeah, Wrecking Mystic would clean up the board. Yeah, it would. It would. So if he doesn't have Racking Mystic, then that's game. It doesn't look like he does. He's kind of letting the timer count down. I don't know if he got disconnected or not, but looking to wrap up the game here. We draw the Shadow Dance, but we'll just end it with the range unit, and there you go. I think that's a nice little demonstration. I would have liked to use Shadow Dance there, but we'll see if we can get the combo in the next game. Alright, we got a match against Zek Knight here. Now, I don't know if we want to keep Shadow Dance in this opening hand. I think we will. I want the combo. I'm looking for it. So normally this isn't something that I would do because, you know, you can just draw another Shadow Dance and then like, oh, what am I going to do with these 2 Shadow Dances? But because I want the combo, I'm going to keep it. I'll get rid of the Blessing, though. Okay, we get a Manicore. Ooh, a Ramrus. Okay, so we're looking at a pretty strong early game here. Looking at what he wants to do. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and play the Trent down, and we'll not march it straight up. We'll just put it in front of our castle because we do have the Manicle or the Ramrus, depending on what is called for. So Ramrus, okay, he didn't move it in front. That's rather concerning. I think he has freeze. I think that he has freeze. I do believe he has freeze. Based on that conclusion, I do not think that it is safe to do what I want to do and slap his face. So we will not do that. Instead, we will play. We'll play Ramrus, and we'll put Ramrus behind. Now, the reason we didn't move up was if he had Pillar, you know, he could start using that. Oh dear. Oh no. Go and put a respect for that. That was an ingenious play. Bravo. Here we'll go for a Manicore, move it up, Bestial Rage. Kind of get our own value out of the way here. By getting a big Ramrus on face. If he has freeze, you know, that's rather unfortunate. But at this point, we need to be a little bit aggressive. He does have card advantage. So he does have to trade another unit into the Ramrus here. Which will then, you know, take away the Manicore, and we'll have Ramrus at full health, can play like an armory next turn. Okay, not what I wanted to see. We could Spiny Shadow Dance. Ay. I think what we'll do here is we'll armory. Then we'll slap his face, and then we'll play a lumberjack And we'll put that in the back and then move this up. Because again, if he wants to get rid of the Ramrus, he's got to get rid of the Mana Core. Okay, Lich coming out, making an unwanted appearance, but freezing off the 2 units. You know, we were okay with it freezing off. And then he'll go ahead and hit down the Ramrus. And if he puts in, he can't put in the, nope, that's not going to be enough. Okay, and he's just guarding and making sure that I can't hit off his Darkbender here. We get a Beastmaster, and this is going to be amazing. We'll get to see that Beastmaster Shadow Dance combo come out. I'm not going to play it this turn, because he could Blue Fire, and I don't have enough cold to play both of them. So instead, we're going to go ahead and hit down his castle here, and then we'll play a Spiny, and we'll hit down his castle even more. Oh, actually, I missed it. I should have gone for the Lich. We'll put out the oopsie daisies there. Actually, I kind of want to bounce it back at this point. That was an unfortunate play. I really should have gone for Lich. But I'm happy because we get the Beastmaster combo. We'll just pass it. We won't use the Shadow Dance. I just want to show the power of the Beastmaster Shadow Dance. Because you can just, you know, no matter how bad your draws are, you can just keep on popping out Beastmaster every turn. Flame Shield coming out. Okay, so he'll be able to clean up the Ramrus here, which is unfortunate. And then I think he'll trade. Yeah. Okay, we definitely should have gone. That was just unfortunate. That was just a mistake on my part. I really should have gone for the Lich there. He's playing Judgment, makes sense. So just a big threat with Darkbender sitting there. We get a Wizard though, so we'll go ahead and pop out the Beastmaster Shadow Dance combination. I will trade Lumber in, you know, take that big hit, and then we'll move up our bear, and we'll move our wolf behind it. So we're threatening his base here. He did deal 1 to himself, which is excellent. So if we draw like a Spiny, we can just wrap up the game right there. Or a Centaur, actually. A Centaur would also work. So yeah, either Spiny or Centaur, we can just bounce it back and have enough to finish him off. Okay, so he's going to buff up my bear. So again, using Lich pretty well here. We do have the Mana Core, though, which will help us tank some hits from this Darkbender on our bear to keep the pressure on him. Okay, so we don't draw the Spiny. I will play... I want to keep the Shadow Dance. I don't think there's a point in using it just yet. So we're going to go ahead and play that, and then we'll play the Mana Core in the back here, and we'll play the Faithful Drake, and we'll play it up. Just give him a target for the range units here. And we have a lot of beef on the board. He doesn't have a possibility of Lightning Blade without Drake Dance, which is great. So we're going to see a Blue Firebolt go onto the army. That's a smart choice by him. Now, if I draw Spiny, it's not going to be lethal. Centaur will still be lethal, though. So we do have that to look for as a draw. But he does have to deal with this extra health generated by the Mana Core on these units threatening him here. A smart play would be to hit down the Wizard, I think. That would definitely be a smart play. He should have... Oh, what a... Okay, alright. That makes sense. That makes sense as a play. So now he can get rid of that. He can Merchant's Favor something out. What is he going to play? Or did he just want Racknaw? No, okay. He's going to... Ooh, this is going to freeze his own units, though. So that might not have been the wisest of moves. Also, I think he forgot that we have Beastmaster, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be game here. We can go ahead and just Centaur out. I think we could flex by Shadow Dancing the Centaur and then playing a second time for the kill. I think we'll do that. That was a little bit of BM. But Zack Knight he's a great player. He's beaten me, many times. So I don't feel too bad about showing off, the different combos of this deck. We could have gone out Beastmaster again and bounced it back. So yeah, just overall, it's an extremely interesting deck. It doesn't have a draw engine, but it's got a great late game engine in the fact that you can just use Shadow Dance as a way to just pop out your units that summon other units again, and it gets rid of your Beastmaster liability problem. And Beastmaster is just a great card even without Shadow Dance. He's great value. and with Shadow Dance, he's just insane value. So yeah, I think that really showcases the nice combinations that you can get out with this deck. And we'll go and leave it there for this building with Beastly.